Good morning, greetings, good morning, and welcome everyone. Trying to set up this phone before we dive into our topic. So today we welcome first. Let me welcome you all first. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your support, much appreciated. So today's stream, from the topic we are talking about God's divine restoration. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what? For what, Anastasia? What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? So welcome and thank you so much for always coming in. Today we are talking about God's divine timing. God's divine timing, and this is a word I wanted us to share this morning because most of the time we find ourselves in things or in places where you feel like your time is taking too long. You know, everything is taking too long, everything is not working. But this morning I just want to remind you of God's divine timing and God's time being the best always. It might take long, but God's divine timing is always the best. So today morning we want to talk about God's divine timing. Hi, my sister Amanda. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Much appreciated. Happy to see you this morning. We always have these morning talks just for 30 minutes, and I'm so humbled to have you. So we are diving right into the word of the day. We are talking about God's divine timing, and we are getting our word from the book of Genesis chapter 18 verse 14. I will start by verses 13. So the Bible says, "The Lord said to Abraham, 'Why did Sarah laugh and say, "Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?'" And this is the word of the day. The Bible says in verse 14, "Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return to you. About this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son." I'll repeat again. "Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return to you. About this time next year, and Sarah will have a son." And these words are coming to Abraham at the age of 91. These are the time, no, at the age of 90, because he got the son at 91. And this is the time these words are coming to Abraham. These are the time God is saying these words to Sarah. Hi, River Girl, welcome. This is the time, Genesis, which chapter? It is chapter 18, verses 14. But I always advise you guys that you can read all the way from chapter 1 to that chapter so that you can get the whole point. Thank you so much, JD, for stopping by. Anywhere, anytime, JD is making me smile. Keep up the good job. Your dream shall come to pass. So this morning, I want to share with you a very inspiring thing that I feel like we need to share with you. And it is about divine timing. There is timing and there is divine timing. When we say divine timing, this is the time that the Lord has ordained for the things that He wants to happen in our lives to happen. And I know most of the time we force things to happen in times maybe that is not the divine timing. And that is why most of the time our plans fail so bad, because We force issues, we force things to happen when the time is not right. And I always tell you that sometimes I sit down and think of the three answers from God, and I indeed get satisfied with every response that I get from God. Because no, for me, it means that God is protecting you from something maybe bad, or God is just telling you you don't need this thing at this time. Because, for example, if I would say, like right now, I need a car, do I really need a car? Yes, on my side, I'll sit down and say, yes, I need a car. But God knows very well that you have so much unfulfilled things that you need to work on. And He tells me, you know what? I'm not giving you a car. You know, I'm not giving you a car, but I'm giving you something else. That something else that God is giving me, that thing is needed at that right time, at that time. And then there is yes. When yes happens, that is the divine timing, and that is the best time that God wanted that thing to happen. And then there is a no response. I mean, wait response. When God says wait, God is preparing something great for you. You know, you asked for something small, but God is like, you know what? You don't deserve this. I have something better for you. And that is why I always bring in that story whereby God knows our heart desires, and God knows the right time when the desires are to be fulfilled in our hearts. And I love that song that always says that most of the time, because of our anxiety or because of our fastness in whatever we need, we always go to God and we ask Him because we need that thing at that time. But because God is faithful and loves us so much, He knows whatever we want, and He's not going to give you exactly what you asked for, but He's going to give you exactly what you want. He won't give you what you ask for, but He'll give you what you want. For example, when it comes, let me talk about a physical example. Let me just talk about a physical example. A physical example says, most of the time when you get angry, let me say a physical example, an example that we all can relate. When you get angry, not angry, hungry, you need something to feed. When you get hungry and you need something to feed on, most of the time you are like, I'm hungry. I don't need water. You know, I really don't need water. I need bread. So I'll go ahead and ask God, you know, I'm hungry. I need bread. But let me tell you one thing is for sure. You will not eat that bread alone without water. Did you ask God for water? No, you did not ask God for water. You wanted food, He gave you the bread. But God's faithfulness to us is immense and very intense because you ask for bread and He goes ahead and gives you bread and water. Because He knows immediately you start eating that bread, you will need water. That is how faithful God is. And that is why I said sometimes you get to a point that you ask too much, but God knows the time when He's about to give you what He wants to give to you. So sometimes we just pray that may God give us patience and keep hoping that we might not lose the faith in Him. So Anastasia quoted the verse, Genesis 18 verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Yeah, that is why we are talking about divine timing. Can you imagine a time where a moment whereby you have waited for so long? Because it is a desire of each and every person. Immediately they enter the marriage, immediately they get married. You need the baby, you want the baby to be there, you want everything to move, you know, you want everything to move the way you want them to happen. But then God sees that this is not the right time. God is like, I feel like you're still too young. I feel like maybe you won't be able to satisfy the babies with the needs they want. You won't be able maybe to get whatever the baby wants and all that. So it gets to that point whereby he's like, no, you have to wait. Hey, Auntie V, welcome. Good morning from my side. So you get to that point whereby you now start losing your hope, you start losing your faith, and you're like, I think I've waited for too long. I think you don't even sit down and think of maybe there are other people who are there, maybe there are other examples of people who are going through the same situation. And that is why my sharing still comes to that point where I've said, most of the time you ask and God is like, this person is too fast. I would really want to give the better part of it. But he feels or she feels that this is what she wants. And that is why when you ask for bread, when you are angry, God will give you with water, because he definitely knows that you will need water. And that is how now God's faithfulness comes in. You remember, even now, before coming to this point, God had promised Abraham that I will make you a father of nations. And Abraham is still aging, is still going on aging, and aging. And he's like, father of many nations, how? My age is going on. I'm in a position I feel like maybe at this point I'm not getting a child. And then now, back to our verse. If I just go back shortly, just up there. Now Abraham and Sarah were old. That is verse 11. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in years. The way of woman had ceased to be with Sarah. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, after I am worn out, and my Lord is old, shall I have pleasure? The Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, shall I indeed bear a child, now that I am old? And now this is where our topic comes in again. God's divine timing. And God asked, is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return to you. About this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son. And Sarah goes ahead and denies it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. He said, no, but you did laugh. That is how God does the thing. That moment when you feel like nothing is happening again, nothing is going to happen at this place, that is where God comes in and he's like, you know what? This is the right time and everything is about to happen the way you want it to happen. That is God's timing. That is God's divine timing. And we are being told that when the time is... Yes, Sarah laughed. It gets to a point in life where when someone tells you something big is going to happen to you, JD. Keep pushing. Keep pushing and something big is going to happen. And you get to that point where you are like, you know what? Helen, you are making a joke. This is not going to happen. Have you ever trusted for something for so long and you get to that point where you feel like it has taken too long? I feel like maybe it has been denied to me. I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like it was not meant for me. And then you give up. I read a quote somewhere. The quote said that time when you say, I am done, that is when the Lord picks the pen and says, you know what, my daughter, I am about to start it. And that is why most of the time God tests our hope and patience in him, because will you still keep pressing on? Will you still keep moving even when the things are not going your way? Will you still keep an eye on him? Will you still be the JD you have been? Will you still be Miss V? Will you still be kind? Will you still be supportive to people? Will you still keep pushing? Will you still see that everything is going to happen at the right time? That's how he tests your patience. Are you still hoping in him even when the things are not happening right? Enda uone auntie. Enda uone auntie anakuita. Even when the things are not right, will you still keep pushing? That is how everything happens. And that is how we find to ourselves feeling... Audrey Songa. That is how we find ourselves feeling that we need that. Shuka, enda uone auntie. Enda uone Skyla anakuita. Hi Sassy, welcome. Thank you so much. We are talking about divine timing, and we have read from the book of Genesis chapter 18 verse 14. The baby was around, so I had to pause a little bit. And yeah, that is how it happens in life. And I just want to encourage you this morning that God's timing is always the best. Sometimes we feel that things are taking too long. Audrey, please, baby. Audrey is always Audrey Anastasia. So sometimes we get to that point where we feel that so much is delaying in our life, so much is happening. But let us sit down and just figure out and think of the people of God who waited for so long, who kept being so patient, who kept hoping even when they felt like we are at the edge of losing hope. Sometimes it gets to that point you just feel like things are not working, things are not going the way you would want them to go. But are you losing your hope? Are you losing your trust in God? Keep pushing. Sometimes I know it is tough. The waters are flowing even above our necks. But the Bible says in the book of Psalms that God will not allow the waters to go beyond your neck. He will not allow the waters go beyond your neck. He is there to protect us. He is there to be with us. He is there to show us love. You know, sometimes you get to a point whereby maybe the little that you are getting, it is just now in and out of hospitals. You spend so much money in hospital bills and you are like, what is happening to me? You know, so you get to that point whereby, God, what is happening? But keep trusting in God. One thing I'll encourage you this morning, that God is faithful and he does his own things at the ordained time. He does his own times at the divine timing. Let us keep in mind that God is faithful and he is there for us. He will never leave us to walk alone. Wear yourself an armor of full armor of God. Be truthful, be faithful, remain consistent in trusting in him. Keep being faithful, because I am a testimony and I feel like God has been so faithful to me. In lower moments, in happy moments, in all moments, he has manifested and he has been so faithful to me. And I really thank God for his faithfulness, because I would literally wake up and see him work for me. I would literally wake up and see each and every day is a new day. Each and every day is a different day. Each and every day there is some changes on my on the environment and everything. So thank you so much for everyone for stopping by. I hope this creates an impact on you. And sometimes I know it gets to that point where you laugh, just like Sarah. Sarah laughed and like, my Lord is getting to a point where he's aging. You know, that is Abraham. He's aging. And at this point, I have waited. People have laughed at me. People have mocked me. People have been on my neck. You know, so much has happened. For Sarah, he felt like the waters have gone beyond the neck. But he kept trusting in God. He was so patient. Even the other lady, Penina, they were so patient. Hannah, you know, Penina pushed Hannah to the wall where she felt like, you know what, I give up. Things are not working. Things are not happening. Life is just being life. But what are you doing towards it? Are you losing your faith? Are you losing your hope? No, we are not losing it. We keep pushing. And I just want to appreciate you once again. Thank you so much, guys, for your support and your faith and your love towards me. You have been supporting me even when I'm not online, even when I'm online. But I really thank God that as much as it is on and off, but I'm better and I'm feeling well. I really thank God for being with me, for being with my family and bringing us to this far. I know His time is the best, and that is the word that I'll keep on. That I'll remain faithful. I'll keep trusting in Him, for I know that His timing is the best, and I know when the time is right, He will make everything happen at a very beautiful in a very beautiful way. So that is my trust. And guys, you can just go ahead and read through Genesis 4:18, and then you see how the word encourages you. Don't lose hope. Keep pushing. Even when things are not happening, just keep pushing. God is faithful. And thank you so much for stopping by. I always do a very short live stream on this channel, and I'm really grateful that you guys stepped in just to come and support me. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you on your lives, on your videos, on your live streams. I am back. I'm feeling better. I'm back. My deaf and dumb phone. Sorry, Sassy. Sorry, I understand. I am at that point, Sassy. My phone keeps going on and off, on and off. But I really thank God. He is faithful. I am able to do live stream. Yeah, so I will see you. I'm really trusting God that He will keep giving me the energy and strength to feel more better and better. I'll be back, and I know I am back. The fact that I can sit here and talk to you today, I managed also to do a live stream on the other channel for, I think, 50 minutes. That is God. For me, I feel like that is God. Sometimes I've just been waking in the morning and I feel drowsiness. I just feel a very painful back and headache. And that made me not even to walk one step ahead, because I felt like I can fall down and just collapse. But God has really been faithful, and I really thank Him, and I really thank Him once more for you guys, for the support, for your love, for your you keep encouraging me, and you keep just telling me to keep pushing and all that. I don't take it for granted. May the good God bless you guys. Thank you for stopping by. May God grant you favor. May God grant you faith, hope. Don't give up. Keep pushing. God's timing is always the best. When His time is right, He will make everything faithful. So let's keep trusting in Him. Let's keep our hope alive. I know sometimes it gets to that point you feel like I'm drained, but let me remind you that that time when you say you are drained, that is when God steps in. So keep your faith up, keep trusting in Him. He is faithful and He knows His time. So bye bye, guys. See you in the streets.